Hi everyone, this is my week 10 video. I can't believe we're already at week 10 and maybe more than a quarter of the way done with our field placements. I have about 166 hours at this point, and I just can't even believe, that we're already at this point. We've come so far so fast, and, I feel like I'm really getting adjusted to my placement. I really enjoy it a lot. I really think that working in the school is something I might really want to do in the future. So, I feel fortunate to have this opportunity. Today was a professional development day at the school because of election day. So the kids actually weren't there. So I originally wasn't going to even go into the school today. But then my supervisor told me about this workshop that they had had open spaces. Originally, we wanted to go to, they had a training about working with transgender students, and actually that's become like a really common population that's being referred to us at both the middle school and at the high school. So I thought that would be interesting because even at my work on the inpatient unit, we get many kids who, are having like gender identity issues and, are identifying themselves as the opposite sex. So I was interested in that initially, but that one was full, of course. So I went to this QPR training, and it's actually about suicide prevention. And I guess it's a nationally recognized training. I forgot the psychologist who created it, but it stands for Question, Persuade, and Refer. And so I guess it's a training that's used not only for, mental health professionals, but, for teachers, for families, for kids, for anybody, just to kind of teach people how to ask questions about suicide. So I thought it was good. I mean, working in the field, you get pretty familiar with, the signs of suicide and the protective factors and the risk factors and, talking about suicide. But a lot of there was a lot of teachers there at the workshop who were not, really uncomfortable talking about suicide and had never, experienced anybody who was suicidal. And they, we had a great discussion going about, how to ask questions, how to intervene, how to refer people, what vague signs or, what clues there are when a child's feeling suicidal. So I appreciated the opportunity to go to that workshop today. Even though the kids weren't there, I was able to still go in and have a good learning experience. So that was good for today. I have some time off coming up for the school. We have Veterans Day off next week, and then we have a little mini Thanksgiving break, and then winter break, in a little over a month. So things are moving along. Working with my caseload is going pretty well. I'm actually having, I'm not sure if I mentioned this in my last video, but new kids added to my caseload because another intern dropped out of the placement. So there was originally 3 of us. One of us dropped out because she felt uncomfortable and like she wasn't getting enough guidance at the placement. They took another intern on, and now she feels the same way, and she is, I don't know if she's staying or coming back. My supervisor's having a meeting with her professor this week to see if she's going to stay or if she's going to leave the placement completely because she feels, uncomfortable too working with the kids. So now that's another, division of cases. So the final intern left and me have to divide them up too. So, it's our caseload's growing and growing and growing. But it's good, I get to work with more kids, so I'm going to actually interview a new kid tomorrow, and it's hard, I feel kind of bad for the kids because I feel like they're meeting, new faces that they think they're going to work with for the year, and then these interns are leaving, so I think it's kind of, difficult, but, at least they'll still have somebody to work with. One little issue that I've been having is I have a group with 3 boys on Fridays, a CBT group, and my supervisor is pretty clear. She wants me to follow this specific CBT curriculum from this book, Thinking, Changing, Rearranging, and it has, chapters for each session. And I'm having a lot of trouble because these boys, they have a lot of like stinking thinking, cognitive distortions, kind of negative, poor social skills, very rigid, and I'm having difficulty with them because they do not want to talk about like anything CBT related, anything about like negative thoughts, self-esteem, you name it, like they just don't want to talk about it. The social skills stuff, they're they'll work on it. You know, if I made up this dice game where, you know, if you roll a 1, you give a compliment. If you give a 2, you ask someone a question. You know, things like that. So they did really well with that, and they said they liked the game. So then, because they don't want to talk about these CBT curriculum, I made up a board game with like to move forward spaces, and you could answer a question which I, you know, tied into CBT, like what's one negative thought that you have or something, and they just shut down completely, and they were not interested, and they do not want to talk about anything CBT. So you know, my supervisor really wants me to continue trying, but I'm struggling. So I'm just wondering if anybody has any experience with this or any recommendations of how to engage these boys in, you know, learning the CBT curriculum and taking it seriously and not just shutting down. You know, I'm trying to make it fun and have games and candy, and it's just not working. So any feedback, any resources, any ideas would be really appreciated. Thank you and have a good week.